Hi all, Mike Shinley here. Doing a simple project of adding some covers for some raised garden beds. These are the VegTrug natural cedar raised bed planters from Home Depot. With a European name and the width of 1.8 meters instead of 6 feet, you know it has to be good. I'm adding some hoops to these that are 30 inches across by 15 inches high and made with mid-grade 3/4 inch plywood. I used a CNC to cut these out, but a jigsaw would work just fine. The CNC has a 48 inch by 32 inch bed, and I used every bit of it for these hoops. I'm using a 1/4 inch Jenny compression bit to cut the hoops, and I really let it work. A compression bit combines the best of the upcut and downcut bit profiles into a single bit. This means it leaves both the clean top and bottom of the material it is cutting. An additional feature is that it packs the sawdust into the cut as it goes, which helps keep the material in place, requiring less clamps, glue, etc. I ran the bit at the full depth of the 3/4 inch plywood, which had me a little nervous. Despite some less than ideal conditions, the compression bit performed perfectly. I didn't secure the plywood to the spoil board very well, so you hear some chatter and vibration from the plywood and the bit. I have 8 screws securing it to the spoil board at the corners, but nothing in the middle. And the last thing I learned is that I want to use 3D tabs instead of 2D, so the bit isn't causing some momentary puffs of smoke as it drills vertically into the plywood. No real harm done, just recognizing a better approach. I used an oscillating tool to separate the hoops from the rest of the plywood by cutting through the tabs. I've only used an oscillating tool briefly before this, and I'm really impressed by how quick it cuts through the tabs. You can see a little onion skin in parts of the hoops, which was likely caused by me measuring the depth of the plywood when it was not properly secured to the spoil board. The oscillating cutter handled it nicely. Frames are made from 2x2s joined with Craig pocket holes. This is a very simple 4-board layout using butt joints and pocket screws. These will provide enough thickness to screw through the base and secure the hoops. I attached the 30 inch by 15 inch by 3/4 inch hoops to the 2x2 frames using 2.5 inch wood screws. There was nothing fancy about it, just a pilot hole and wood screw from the bottom of the base into each hoop. If I'd not screwed up the camera angle, I'd show you how simple it was, but instead I'm flapping my gums about it. This is a 3/4 inch plastic poultry netting that will get stapled to the hoops. It was a tough call between this and a larger gap metal netting. We'll see how it holds up over time. I'm using an 18 gauge narrow crown stapler about every 3 inches to keep it attached to the frame and hoops. The narrow crown was a great match for the 3/4 inch plywood in the hoops. This was the first time using this tool, so it took a dozen or so staples to get comfortable using it. A few hundred staples later and no blood sacrifices to the wood gods, I was done. Well, not quite done, but done talking for a moment. After the netting was secured, I just needed to zip tie the overlapping netting in the center and add a stainless steel latch, an eye hook, and some stainless steel hinges. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know if you have any questions or comments below.